Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to drop the resolution to 720 because the internet was cutting out here. So fortunately, it'll be a little lower resolution, but still gonna show you some cool stuff here. So yeah, if you're just joining us, we got some of the Strange Loop team here. Simon over here, dressed in red. We got a couple more people here. Sikoris, our designer, over here. And it looks like we got Slakes back there working the store. So today we're going to be showing you work parties. So work parties are a way to collaborate together on a joint project that we're adding to 9.0. So let me give you a demo of that. So say, for example, I really need to make a carpentry table. And carpentry table is going to take me 50 units of labor. It's going to take me 20 units of rock and 20 units of wood. This is another new thing that's new in 9.0. If you played Eco before, we just had individual ingredients, but now you have these groups of ingredients called tags. So for example, this carpentry table takes 20 wood, and that wood can take several different forms. Redwood, palm log, etc. And depending on what type you use, it might actually create a somewhat different looking product. But anyway, let's put together a carpentry table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an order here. We can see here is my carpentry table waiting to be made. It's got 0% resources, labor, 0% time on it. So a lot of work needs to be done on this. But I can tap the help of the community in this. And that's what work parties can do. So I'm going to go to a contract board. So previously these were only used for contracts, but now we're adding work parties to them. And I will create a work party. This is what the work party interface looks like. So work party lets you specify in a single page how you want to collaborate on this thing. It's kind of like a group contract. So the idea is that you have laborers that can join at any time, even while the project's going. So it's an asynchronous way to collaborate. Then you can set different requirements on these laborers, like maybe I want a slot open for somebody with certain skill requirements. This is kind of a preview of the system we've created for laws, which has a lot more benefits to it as well. Like we can just drop it into here really easily. So we get those same things that we're using in laws are appearing here inside the economy as well. So we need a skill. Let's see. Oh, that's not showing up. Okay, never mind on that one. Let's do that they are not an admin. So if they're not an admin, they'll be able to join this slot. So you can set these kind of roles. Specifically, skills is going to be the useful one, where you can decide, this work order requires somebody with a particular ability. I'm going to leave a spot open for them. But you can also have this expand when roles are full. So this one, whenever somebody takes a slot, it'll just grow another one. So you can have this thing kind of grow as people are coming and going and contributing to it. Next thing you have is the work that's going to be done. So this is auto-populated with the work order that I have open, which is this carpentry table. But you can go through and pick any work orders you have open, and it will list all the different work here in these line items. So this is going to need 20 rocks and 20 wood. I need to fix these icons here, but there'll be a little wood icon. And it needs 50 labor. So labor is a new concept we're adding to 9.0. A lot of work orders are going to require not just ingredients, but actually performing labor, and that costs calories. So it's an extra drain on your calories, which is going to give a lot more need for chefs, for people who are cooking in the game. And we're going to do a full blog post and a stream about that too. So get more details on that. But for now, let's set this up. Oh, you can also set the weight here. So say, the labor is really valuable compared to the ingredients. We're going to say 3 times the payment is going to go for the labor as it does for the materials. Actually, let's reverse that because these materials are probably a lot harder than only 50 labor. That's pretty small. And then finally, we have the payment. So you can see it's defaulted here, and we really wanted this to be just nice, easy default. So you could not even read any of this and post it, and you would immediately have a pretty viable little work party for people to join. But if you want to get in here and customize it and make everything all cool, then you can go and set these up however you want. So let's change this to a currency payment of 1,000 John K credits. And you set the advanced properties here. This is kind of a general design philosophy we have, is that we make the easy thing easy and we make the advanced thing possible. So by default, you just say, I want to pay 1,000 currency, pay as you go. But if you want to get fancy, you can say, I want to pay it from this account. That's this, I want to split it by work percent. So we just have a lot of defaults that you can customize, but most of the time they're just hidden away. So something to make it easier to get into, easier to understand these things, and over time you can get to some pretty cool, complex scenarios. So there we go. For now, I've set this to 1,000 John K credits. So if you haven't played Eco, credits, everybody has their own currency they start with, and you have infinite of them, so I can just pay these out willy-nilly, and their value is going to be defined by however they're used in the economy. So if I set up a store that uses them, they're going to be more useful than if, right now they're basically useless. But for demonstration purposes, you can see how these currency payments will go out. But currency is not the only type of payment you can make, so we can create other types like this reputation payment. So this one, 10 reputation from me, splitting based on work performed, paid as work is performed. And again, this is something that you can add here. So this is a nice default. It makes use of the reputation system by default. You can remove it if you don't want it, but it's a good way to, new players can join these crafting parties and start building up reputation, building up goodwill on the server, getting involved in the community. And that's really what the core of what this is about, is creating this kind of quest system, this collaboration system for players to work together. Let's add another one. Oh, there's some. Oh, I don't have any titles, but this one will be useful. So grant title is another kind of advanced payment. You could say once this person puts in, say, 15% of the work, then they're going to be granted this title, and I can choose a title here, and that title might give them special property access. It might allow them to drive my car, all kinds of crazy stuff you could do. Maybe it gives them access to certain bank accounts. So just another interesting kind of system you can connect this to. Now that we're building all these different systems, we can make these really easy connections. Like, it's really easy to have, grant a title inside of this payment. That was like a few hours of code, but it can open up some really interesting use cases. And the last one, I'll show you this later. This is a knowledge share payment. This will let you share knowledge that you're building, which is really good for research. But for now, let's just have this basic one here. I will call it the Strange Work Party. And let's post it. Strange Work Party has been posted. All right. So now that should get announced to everybody in this in chat, and I can see my work that I am currently a laborer of inside of here. So I'm one of the laborers, and other players can go and help me with this party if they want. Can also see that the work party pops up this nice little world marker here. So since I'm a member of this work party, I get this nice instruction. 20 rock, 20 wood is going to be needed here. And these will be the icons for those items, and 50 labor. So if you're joining a lot of work parties, you kind of keep track of them really easily by these little pop-up things we got here. So here we go. Oh, look, Simon, are you checking out my sweet work party? Cool. Also show here in the economy viewer. This is something we've had in Eco for a while, but we've revamped it. Shows you all the trades and things in the game, contracts. We've added work parties to here. So these are all the active work parties right now. You can see my strange work party here with the basics of what it is. We're making a craft table, we're getting paid. And then if you want to see details, you can mouse over these and I'll show you all the fancy stuff you're going to make. So let's see if we got any takers in my work party. Oh, nice. So we can see here in the chat notifications getting sent. Looks like Simon performed 50 labor, so it's 62% done. He was paid 156 credits, he got some reputation, and you can see the work party percent is progressing here. So labor's 100% done now, and still need 50% of the minerals here, and Sikoris and Redwire have both contributed. So you get this really easy way to see how progress is coming along, and these players are getting paid as they go, so they might use that resources and use that currency they're getting and go off and buy the next step in resources that they have. So it's a nice way to kind of baby step trust in the game. Like if you have two parties that don't know each other, you know, you do a little bit of work, you'll get a little bit of money. You do more work, you get more money. So it allows players to start to build these relationships in the game. Let me go and put some in here. So we can see our little pop-up here. Shows me the carpentry table. It has 30 seconds left, but it is currently blocked on resources. It needs 20 wood, so let's give it some wood. Is there any trees to chop down around here? Let's go find one. I'm just gonna give myself an axe. Simon, you see any trees around? Oh yeah. Oh, they're way over there. Oh, Sikoris is getting some. Let's head over that way and go meet him. We'll take a little detour here. So while we're walking over there to get some wood for this crafting party, I'll take a look at the questions coming through. The currency option, this is Setsuki. The currency option should be visible in the simple options. I can see a lot of questions on new people's faces when it's not a certain world currency. That's a good point. That's pretty easy to remove that from the advanced ones if we want. We have a question, chef getting overhauled. Yeah, pretty much everything is getting overhauled. We've added a ton more uses for calories, so that in itself is just going to drive a lot of the need for chefs. Oh, I need to go west. Hey, can we use cactuses as wood? Let's do that. A little over dramatic for just a cactus falling. All right, we got some Saguro rib. This will make for a nice fancy carpentry table. All right. Got a good haul here. Let's go back. We can see our new UI here. We got the world map is embedded in this little bubble here that you can move around. But if you don't like that, you can also pop it out and put it wherever you want. Have it on the screen permanently. I quite like the little spherical one though. Let's pop it back in. Then you get a nice full screen toggle with just push M and it'll toggle in between those. So lots of little niceties like that we're adding to the game, just making it more pleasant to get around. Yeah, someone's admiring the new log textures. Yeah, we have different log textures for all the different types of wood. And then a lot of the items will actually reflect that. So I don't think the carpenter table will be any different if I build with this, but lots of furniture will depend on if you build it with hardwood or softwood, and other later materials are affected by that too. Yeah, somebody mentioned they liked how you can turn the map to 2D. You can see now it defaults into 3D, so you can see a big spinny globe, but also have the option to just make it flat, which sometimes is more handy if you just want to plot course somewhere. We'll make it flat for a bit. All right, here we go. So now I can put the last 20 materials in here. We'll drag those in. Boom, there we go. You can see little notices pop up on these things. So we've kind of redesigned the work order UI here. You got the two bars with blue is resources, yellow is labor, and time can only advance as far as the lowest one. So if you have 50% resources and 60% time, you can't go over 50% until you have equal amounts. So you see this is finishing up and done. So that should finish off the work party. Yep, it's no longer in my list. And yeah, strange work party completed. I was paid 175 of my own credits. I did 38% of the work. I was not paid any of my own reputation because you can't give yourself a reputation. But yeah, this thing got made, people got paid, and it's all able to happen asynchronously, and really becomes the like the quest system of the game. It's kind of the idea behind this is that, you know, a lot of games you have quest systems, but they're artificial. They're created by designers, given out by NPCs, kind of endlessly. You know, but go fetch these items. But in Eco, every work party, every quest is something that a player needs. So it connects to the larger economy, connects to the larger ecosystem from where the resources come from, and that just makes it so much richer and more interesting. It's one of the great things about this system. Let's show some knowledge. Is anybody doing a research? Let's take a look for a research work party. Ooh, here we go. Open butchery skill. Need to find where that is. Hey, Kirill, where is your butchery skill research happening? We actually just changed this where you can click on it and see where it is in the next update. Electronics research. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Oh, it's over where Slakes is. Let's have a look. Where are you, Slakes? Inside here. You underground. Oh, maybe he's upstairs. Actually, let's check on the contract board out here. Barbecue. This is doing butchery. Nice. I'm gonna go find that other knowledge work party. You know where the other contract board is? Oh, there's Slakes. All right, Slakes. Yes, I'll follow you. Here we go. All right, so here's two work parties that are doing research. Let's take a look at them. So you got to add a lot of advanced things. And you receive knowledge of butchery if work contributed is at least 25%. So research is one of the biggest ways to advance in eco. It's kind of the primary way that a civilization progresses. So by having these as joint projects, you can really organize a lot better, organize the resources, organize the labor that you need in a very straightforward way. So definitely want to be part of that. So I'm now a labor in the open butchery skill. And I should have, yep, there's these pop-ups. So this requires some campfire cooking labor over here. So here's a neat feature. So typically these work tables, which belong to Slakes, are going to be have no permissions for me because it's not my property. But the system detects, the game detects that I have an open work party that I'm a member of, which requires me to add labor to this. So it's given me special access. And you can see here that it tells me that up at the top. So what I can do is, even though I don't typically have permissions, it gets this blue highlight and I'm able to add to it. So let's go ahead and perform some labor. Oh, before that happens, you must add at least one ingredient before you can perform labor. So the labor system requires you gotta have something to work on before you can start the labor. So we'll have to get an ingredient in there first. But let's go look at this one. Open butchery skill. So this just needs 90 research projects, 1,000 hunting labor. Let's see if we can perform the labor on this. Oh, Slakes, we need to get some ingredients in here before we can do labor. But I don't think the work party calls for ingredients. Maybe we can just drop one in there. Yeah, I have to add an ingredient before I can add to that campfire. Oh, I see. This needs charred meat. So let's get myself some charred meat. And oh, I see. This is the culinary research paper. So if I put this charred meat into here, it's going to go towards basic research projects where I'm researching the fine culinary arts. And you can see that I've added this to the basic meat project. That has increased by 1% how much is done. And you can see in the notices that oh, I didn't get paid yet because payment happens at the end, it looks like. So let's go ahead and just give myself a whole lot of charred meat. You know what, let's give myself the max. There we go. So I've added all the charred meat that's needed for that. Oh no, it still needs 19. Ah, it's currently full, so the rest is in storage. Okay, but you can see that the resources have gone up on this project. We have 30 out of 90 charred meat has been added. And but it can't advance until we start adding labor. So you can see this text here is yellow. There's a yellow background. That means it's stuck on waiting for labor. So let's go ahead and shift right click to add some labor. There we go, performed 100 units of labor. So you can see now that the time is going to start ticking on this thing. It'll get up to here where the resources are. And then I'll have to add more resources before I can continue. Progress is now at 56%. I've performed 56% of the work, finished one task completely, finished more than half of the second task, and then we have some more there. So I'm already over the 25% needed in order to get that knowledge. So I should see a notice here. Let's look at this. There we go. John K's contribution is now over 25% and can gain knowledge of butchery. Oops. John K queued to gain butchery when butchery project finishes. So previously the way to distribute knowledge is you would create skill scrolls after you created the skill book and then hand them out or sell them to people. This gives an alternate way to do that. So now I'm actually queued on this project that when the project actually finishes, I'll automatically get that labor, or I'll automatically get that knowledge. So a great way to organize, everybody in the town can contribute to this research project and everybody instantly benefits from it. And you kind of have this guarantee that you're going to benefit from it. So that'll happen once the butchery skill completes. There we go. Oh, I see. He's got these linked together. So put some labor into this guy. And you can see as I'm performing these units of labor, my calories is going down. And oh, I just leveled up because you get experience from performing labor. Keep going there. How are we doing? There we go. So it's full up on labor. I should be able to see. Oh, it's not showing me the. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here's the work order. So 22 seconds, that'll be complete. So check out some questions while we're doing this. Got a question, is knowledge still being spread using the book skill scroll system and can be distributed traditionally? Yep, that system's still part of the game. This is just an extra way that you can do it. The work party basically generates a skill scroll just for the reward. Basically, it gives you the knowledge directly, so you don't even, there's no scroll involved, it just instantly gives that to you. So we've got that research paper, and there we go. The cooking labor is complete. Let's have a look. Did I get that? Did I get that skill? 100 labor units. Yeah, I did a lot of labor. And I should get that knowledge as soon as it finishes. There we go. Open butchery skill complete. We all got paid. I got 89%. Sweet. Made some bank. Got 888 eco coins for my contribution there. Simon did 11%, so he got 111. And once the skill book is crafted, so this is not yet crafted, I should instantly get the knowledge for that. So one thing, we'll go over this more in a later blog about the tech tree, but we've kind of changed the ingredients that go into research. Research is one of the most important things you craft in the game, and now to contribute to research, you create these research papers. And you can make these at all kinds of different craft stations. So it kind of involves the whole community a lot more as you're advancing society. Someone just told me to curb stomp that bird. That's horrible. Cool. So yeah, any other questions? We'll start looking at what people are asking. Will the helpful tooltips where you look an item at the top be in the final update? Yeah, yeah. You guys notice this? This is new in this one. So now anything you look at, it shows you exactly what it is that you're looking at. And this is Slake's contract board, and you can just go and get the little tooltips on these things. It's especially useful for species. You can see, instantly, what species is this? Oh, this is a big blue stem species. Their population is this. It produces this. So just a lot more easier access to knowledge. Just one of the goals of the UI. I've seen references to prospecting and geology. That has me super excited, but there is no blog plan for that. We're going to contain that in the mining blog. So Keegan and Todd and some others and Daniel have been working really hard on that. So we're going to show you that one pretty soon. They got some really cool new objects, and well, you can see here the new crushed stone. Love the way this looks. So we have regular sandstone, but you also have these kind of gravelly ones that are used for different resources. So we've done a lot of tweaks to the world generation that you'll see lots of new block types. And this bison running around inside the town. These foxes parkouring on the walls. Let's see if there's any other questions. There we go. I got my knowledge. So the work party finished, but the butchery skill book wasn't built yet, so I had to wait till it was finished. But once it did complete, then I instantly got that knowledge. So I am now a butcher. So we're updating the skills UI some more, but it's one of the ones we've revamped, so I'll wait to show that till a later version. And a question, will there be a point where ranching will be a thing? Yes, animal domestication is something on the list, but it's still a little ways out. But it's such a big part of human history, I'd love to include that. Is there plans to add a feature where if you jump on a planted crop, it ruins it? I feel like that would probably be really annoying, so we don't have that right now. We do have a trample system where players are running around a lot in an area. It'll affect the world layer, and then that can crush some of the plants in the area. When will this be out? We haven't announced a release date yet. Main reason being that I want to make sure performance is really good before we get it out there. So that might take a little extra time, but we're working away on that, and I think people will be pretty happy with the new performance by the time we get that finished. What feature are you most hyped to see what the community does with? There's a lot of different features we're adding for 9.0. I'm really curious to see the Constitution and amendments, what the community is going to do with them, and all the government pieces, especially the elected titles, because now you can set different positions for government and give them different powers, and they have access to tax accounts and they tax and spend. So a lot more players are going to be involved in the government, because you won't just have one world leader. You could have like powers divided up among dozens of people, and just the number of ways you can divide that up and change it is infinite. So I think we'll see some really cool experiments there where we have some kind of like communist system, we have some kind of republic where you're electing representatives, or we have like dictatorships or ministries, all kinds of crazy stuff you can do. So I'm really interested to see how that evolves. Let's see. How do you see the final version of the game? Well, that is a big question, but we actually have an answer, kind of more of a discussion, but we're building this thing called the Eco Tree, which is going to be a tour of the whole idea behind eco and where we want to take it. That's something you can see in the Ecopedia. So Ecopedia, this is something we demoed last week, where we had a blog about it. And it has all the help and information in the game about how things work. But down here at the bottom, we have a little bit on development. And this is the Eco Tree. So this is actually going to be our new homepage. But you'll be able to see all the different features in the game. Each one of these dots is a different feature, and you'll be able to click it, read about it, see who's working on it. These are all the devs here, and they're positioned next to what they're working on. There's me. And yeah, this is really just sharing the whole vision of the game. So really excited to share this with you. This is going to be really a focal point for the community and where we want to take the game. Why are salads cooked in a cast iron stove? Because they're grilled Caesar salads, maybe? Actually, I think that's all getting changed, so some of the ingredients will probably be on better ones pretty soon. Why does me tunneling affect the surface layer? Ah, yes, it's because the world layers are stacked on top of each other like that. Somebody's asking about mining underground affecting the upper layers. It should take into account depth for most purposes, so hopefully it won't be too affecting. Have you thought about adding trailers for trucks? Actually, that's a good idea. We don't have any trailers for trucks. We do have them for tractors, though. So it'd be pretty easy to put them on trucks as well. I could see them getting kind of fiddly to try to drive around, though. Is baking or milling being updated to be more useful? Yep, we're adding new features for pretty much all the skills, tons of new stuff in the tech tree. We're going to do a whole tour of that in a later stream also. Will there be some balancing of professions in the new update? Yep. Paper is also going to be one that's really expanded. The one thing we're not going to expand for 9.0 yet is tailoring, but we do want to do some cool stuff for that at some point. But a lot of the other ones are getting all kinds of new items and things. Regarding the mining question affecting the surface level, on one of the previous streams you had briefly mentioned structural integrity. Should something be introduced regarding required integrity? Could mining then potentially cause collapses if not supported correctly? That would be awesome. I would love to have like mining tunnels that could collapse on you. It's a tricky thing to calculate, but I think that it could be pretty doable. You gotta have a support structure in there. Same with bridges. I want it to be challenging to build bridges. They can be a really interesting architectural project. Let's see. Let's go do another work party while we're here. Anna, I'm going to join your barbecue. Oh, this one needs lots of butchery labor. Oh, and I have butchery now. See, I'm making my way up in the world. I got butchery skill from my last work party. Can go and spend that and advance my butchery abilities. Where's butchery? Let's see, you know what? Nice thing about these tooltips is it makes it easy to just click it and go right to it. There we go. Butchery level 3. So you can see I've learned the skill and now I'm going to specialize in it. So right now I'm just a level 1 lowly butcher. But I can go over here and perform some of that labor. Does the minimap eat up performance? It does, but Simon has just been optimizing that, so hopefully it eats up a lot less performance. And, you know, it makes sense for performance reasons to have a way to just hide it. Ideally, it shouldn't affect your performance noticeably, but on lower-end machines it might. Yes, optimization commits being pushed forward. Simon, somebody's happy that you're optimizing the minimap. Alright, so here we go. I have special access to this barbecue. I'm going to do some labor. Performed 100 units of labor. Let's hold control so I can do 5 times that. There we go. So we've added all the labor to this. And what else do we need to do? Still some more work on this butchery project. Need butchery 3. Let's see where that one's at. on Butcher Bison project. Okay. Oh, here we go. At this butchery table. Here's a nice little feature. If you see a link to a table, you can just control click it, create a marker. And oh, it's the same one. I think I can't perform the labor on this one because the other one's still active. So that's something I'll have to adjust. Will you also fix stupid bugs like disappearing cars or holes in the water? Yes, we've actually spent probably the last several months doing nothing but fixing stupid bugs and polishing stuff. So goal is to have 9.0 being just significantly more polished and bug-free, fingers crossed. I mean, obviously there's still going to be bugs, but it's had a long time in the oven and we're fixing it at a pretty good rate. So yeah, should just be a lot more stable in every way. Let's see, any other questions? How's it going, Anna? You have a scary looking avatar. I like the hat though. Eat some of this charred meat. One other thing I wanted to say about work parties is their interaction with the government. So work parties can be a way for a government to put the citizens towards some common good project. So for example, in the laws on a court for the government, you could set up taxes that are put into an account whenever users are spending money at stores, for example. And then those taxes could be used to fund a work party that, say, sets up a sewage system or starts crafting a bunch of objects or does research that everybody can share and pays that back to the community. So it's a way for governments to kind of incentivize the group towards a common project. And I think that'll yield some really interesting results. It's a great output for tax money. A great way to give lots of quests out to players and get them involved in developing the city, kind of directing everybody along the same vision. How would work parties work for building roads? That's a great question. We don't have that for 9.0 yet, but we are definitely going to add that. Basically what I want to do is move all of the stuff that contracts do over to work parties. Contracts are going to be in 9.0, but going forward we're basically going to merge them over to work parties. So you could just have, if I created a work party, I could have a type of work that I added, which is build a road, and I can pick the places where I want. I could pick the length of the road. So this is really the first part of what's going to be a larger system, where any type of work you could have in there. So farming, you could have a group of people plow a field. You could have a group of people planting a field or harvesting, transportation, all kinds of stuff, anything that contracts do, and lots more. So really excited to keep growing this system as we go. And now that the whole framework is there, it's a lot easier to add this stuff. One of the things with 9.0, one of the reasons it's taken a long time is because we've been refactoring a lot, rebuilt the law system, redid all the UI, and just made everything a lot easier to expand. So that means that future updates are going to be able to come faster than they previously did. Have the architects set up a ghosted blueprint and let people build it as a work party? That's exactly what we want to do. Yeah, so we'll have the ability to, I want to have work parties where you're building a house together, and you would be able to have a certain kind of tool that will let you go and set where you want things to be. Let's give myself some hewn logs here. Softwood hewn log. Oh wow, this chaos of foxes and rabbits. So in the same way that we have the ability to place these, I want to be able to place kind of ghost blocks So you'll be able to like build a kind of like a ghost house basically, which is just a plan for a house, and then players can come and fill it in as a work party. But that's something for later. Oh, I can show you quickly our new hammer system. So there's tons of new block types we've added for hammer for construction, and they're shown here in this here dialog. So you can not only build single points, you can actually build lines, rectangles, floors. So tools are getting a lot more powerful. Like here we go, we just build this big old line in 9 blocks. Boom, just like that. So that's something that you'll get as you level up. We'll do a blog on these tools later. Simon, this could be a good one for you to demo since you basically made it. And this will be in 9.0. We also have area effect tools. Let's give myself a shovel and show that. What's the name of the Mass Effect, the like bulk shovel? Modern shovel? There it is. So this shovel should allow me, maybe that's not ready for demo yet. I think a scythe will. There we go. So now you can see this scythe, instead of just reaping one thing at a time, this is like an advanced version that one swipe slice everything around. So all the tools are going to have these kind of bulk actions as you level them up. So this kind of directly affects, addresses the grind of the game that, yeah, you start off the game only digging one at a time or only scything one at a time. But as you progress in the game, you're going to get these big advantages that you can suddenly plow a whole field with these things pretty rapidly, or chop down all the grain and like much more quickly. And then on top of that, we'll have vehicles that will really just amplify the effect you're having. So the feeling of the game should be one of progress, where as you advance your society, you're having a much bigger impact on the environment, you're gathering much bigger quantities of resources, and then the effects from that start to impact the environment. So having that progress where you're starting off slow and then ending up really impactful will make a really interesting arc to the game. Is there ever going to be death in the game? Yeah, I've kind of debated how that would work. I think sickness is more of an interesting thing. I think if we did do death, it would be basically banishment, where if you break some particular laws, you can be banished from that society. And that would be part of a justice system where we allow breaking of laws and punishments for them, which is slated sometime in the future. Useless but fun feature, colors and paintbrushes. Yes, that's something we've been talked about a lot, actually. Excuse me. We don't have that yet, but we definitely want to add that at some point. All right, I think we will call that a stream. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been fun demoing the new work parties to you. Next week, not sure what we'll be showing, but we'll probably step up the blogs a little, maybe get a couple going a week. If not this week, then next week. Just so we can start speeding that up as we get closer to 9.0. But thanks to the team for joining me for a little demo here. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys. Stay safe.